Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our next session. 皆様お待たせいたしました。続きましては AI エージェントが変えるソーシャルグラフと消費者アプリの未来をお届けいたします。Our next presentation is AI agents, social graphs, and consumer applications. それでは早速こちらの方々にご登壇いただきましょう。And let's now welcome our guest panelists for today. First, from Zero G, Michael. Next, from Eliza Labs, Mr. Shaw Walters. Next, from Origin Trail, Mr. Tomaz Levak. And from XerpaAI, Mr. Sean Sun. Our moderator will be Ms. Vera Lee from Chili Ventures Virtuals Protocol. May I ask all panelists and moderator to please make their way to the stage. それでは皆様どうぞご登壇ください。拍手でお迎えください。Let's greet them with a big round of applause.
Konnichiwa. I'm Vera, founder of Chili Ventures. Yeah, chili, spicy chili. Great meeting everyone here. And today we're sitting on the panel talking about AI agent, social graph, and also we're going to talk consumer apps. So with the amazing panelists here today, have anyone ever used the ChatGPT to ask a wow questions like, what is that 100x meme coin trading? Or have you asked about, write this tweet for me, I want to go like get 10, oh, there you go, you did, okay, great. And, or, you know, you got into the tax season panic, and it's just like, what should I do, right? So, yeah, here is the vibe here, and we're going to start this conversation with amazing panelists. And instead of me reading the bio, I'll let them do the proper intro of how amazing they are.
Well, thanks for passing it over. So I'm Michael, co-founder and CEO of Zero G. At Zero G, we're building the largest and fastest AI layer 1. And as part of that, we have a layer 1 that's infinitely scalable. We have a storage network, a compute network that does inference, fine-tuning, pre-training, and then also a service marketplace, which is like our app store, and then AI alignment nodes on top of that. So we call that the first decentralized AI operating system. My personal background, I started at Microsoft and SAP, then moved to the business side, worked at Bain & Company and Bridgewater Associates, and then afterwards went back to graduate school at Stanford and started my first unicorn company called Garten that was Y Combinator backed. Once I sold that, I also started Zero G at that time. So really nice to be here. Konnichiwa.
Thank you. Shaw.
I'm Shaw. I am the founder and creator of Eliza Labs and the Eliza OS AI agent framework. What we're doing is trying to democratize the development of tools and agents that are intelligent, that anyone can just pull off the shelf and use to build what we think will be the future of the web, the future of work, the future of applications generally. So yeah, everything we do is open source, and I'm very glad to be here.
Hi everyone, this is Tomaz. I'm one of the co-founders at Origin Trail, where Origin Trail is focusing on creating reliable AI by building something that's called a decentralized knowledge graph. It's basically a network that allows anyone to keep ownership of their data, but still have it connected in one giant network. And in this way, we're fostering network effects, also having the technology being used over the course of the last 7-8 years by some giants like the Walmart, Home Depot, Costco, Swiss Federal Railways, British Standards Institution, and many others. Of course, over the course of the last 2-3 years, the decentralized knowledge graph lends itself quite nicely for the upcoming neural network models, including the likes of ChatGPT, which enabled use cases to turn into more AI native than they ever were before. And I'm excited to be discussing what we also believe to be the future of interacting with technology at the highest level, which is having an AI agent do it for you.
Awesome, awesome. Sean?
Hello, everyone. I'm Sean. I'm the founder of XerpaAI. XerpaAI is an AI agent focused on help other projects to grow their user base and also influence power. Just want to everyone remember the name Sherpa. Sherpa is a group of people who are very good at mountain climbing, help the climbers to climb Everest. So we are the hero behind the scene, focus on growth. That's us.
Well, very diverse group of people here. So before we go really into hardcore of AI and the tech, I wanted to start and asking, have you guys seen any interesting AI agents that are very surprising, creative, or funny in the past few years?
I don't know if this is funny nor creative, but it's, I think, impressive. There's a company called Sully AI, which basically outsources all of a doctor's office kind of operations. So it's from note-taking to annotation of different kind of insurance claims to actually filing insurance claims. So you can start running your kind of doctor's office with that. So I thought that was just very cool as a use case. So we're starting to see automation really leak into the real world. Now, the issue with it is using centralized and black box systems, which we can go into in a second, but already a really great use case for what's to come.
The medical system is kind of crazy in the US. That kind of product is going to save people millions of money. Because one of my friends just did a surgery recently, and he shared that his medical bill is $1.5 million. It was so crazy. Shah, have you seen anything interesting?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different agents coming up, but I also think that we have to sort of manage our expectations and say that there's clearly a frontier of things that work really well today, and there's things that will work well tomorrow but might not be so effective today. So there's a lot of proof of concept, a lot of demos, and I can tell you a lot of the things that I've seen that I think are cool. But I think the low-hanging fruit here is going to be definitely social engagement. It's very obvious. That's kind of where a lot of people using our tech use it to engage people socially, but also things like entertainment and games. And some play-to-earn games were really hot for a minute, then kind of went away. One of the things that I think is really interesting is a few games that are kind of doing this, where you can go in and kill the agents to steal their stuff, and that's almost the play-to-earn game. And they're kind of even in a game that has basically no users, there's kind of this feeling of, well, I'm actually playing not just against bots, but against people who, when I beat them, I get their stuff. There's actually, it feels like another player on some level. So I think that's kind of an interesting thing. And what makes it feel real to people is that it's an agent that's playing the same game they're playing and is using the same scoring system, which is money in this case, which feels nice and feels real. So there's a lot of use cases, but I think that maybe it would be good for us to also mitigate some of the expectations. This is version 1, early days. We just got here, and there's some stuff we could do that's so incredible today. That would be so much fun. Storytelling, narrative, social engagement, new kinds of games, new kinds of interactions, and yes, DeFi, banking, that's great, but that's so high risk. It's so if it either works every time or you probably don't want to ship that, that focusing on these lower hanging fruit is where I'm really excited.
Yeah, and speaking of social too, I'm not sure if you guys seen on TikTok, people are just trying to recognize, is this AI-generated human or non-AI-generated humans? It's kind of crazy. Things has been growing so fast. So what about you? What's your take?
Yeah, I think it goes, I'll pick it from the bag of Origin Trail ecosystem, and it goes in the direction that you just mentioned. There's a company called humanitech.ai, which is focusing solely on the introducing safety or reducing harms of artificial intelligence. It's co-founded by the likes of Chris Reining from the Porsche Piech family office and Asa Raskin, who was well known as an architect together with Tristan Harris of the Social Dilemma Netflix documentary. And what the company is doing is their first product, it's called Humanitech Guardian Agent, and it's literally your guardian agent online. So when you're not sure whether something is true or fake, whether something is has been presented as a misinformation or not, that guardian agent should be there to help you figure it out. And they're really starting with the kind of the biggest pain point, which is how can I make sure that my likeness isn't getting abused online for deepfakes, especially, let's say, in explicit material or similar. So I think that's one of the points where we can offload a part of the kind of activity that we would have to do manually, repeatedly over and over again, and it's a never-ending thing, where an AI agent with the proper access to the right data, with the proper framework in place to make sure that it executes the way it should, and limiting those black boxes, it can achieve incredible big impact and really, on the flip side, start to open up crazy opportunities for AI to be introduced in non-trivial use cases. So that's the one that I'm kind of looking towards very much.
That's very interesting. And there is one team in San Francisco, they created something called Cal AI. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing it. It's like you take a picture and it will automatically accumulate the calories for you and telling you like, you know, how much you're eating, right? And it went viral on like TikTok, and then the team is generating millions revenues, and they're like 20-year-old. It's kind of crazy. So Sean, have you seen any interesting AI agents on like social growth? You know, what we guys do?
Okay, one AI agent or consumer apps impressed me a lot is the one you can take video of your pets, especially dogs, and then you record the behaviors of the dog, and then you can know better about your pets and also see whether it's healthy or not. I think this is not built by me, but amazed me a lot, because without AI, it can never happen. AI, we talk about large language model, but language not limited to human, but also to animals. That's an interesting one for me.
Oh, I'm very interested too, because I have 2 cats, and I meows all the time. So I try to understand what my cats are saying, if they're mad at me or anything.
Did you see the work by Google where they made a model that could translate dolphin communication? They made a dolphin transformer.
Dolphin is actually a very smart animal. So
Also, I'm not sure you want to know what your cats are thinking about you. Maybe some things are better left unsaid.
I'm pretty sure they're always mad at me. So yeah, that's awesome. That's interesting. And you know, when we're looking back, like the Gen Zs are internet native, right? And now if thinking about the people born right now, they're AI native, and the productivity is like crazy insane. So, but everyone here is human, right? Yeah, we're all humans here. As the AI developing, what kind of like jobs do you guys think will disappear? And you know, what kind of traits are really matter for people sitting here? Like, you know, we all want to have jobs, or we all want to do some stuff very important. So what are the traits that you think will be important for humans, or only for humans?
I think all the jobs are going to go away, but I think that's because we don't want jobs. Like, isn't the whole point of automation because jobs kind of suck? Like, wouldn't you rather spend time with your family or pursuing something you're interested in or doing like anything else? So why aren't you? Well, because you need a job, because right now the most efficient thing that can happen is that you as a human can like do that work. But what happens when that's not true? Then it's not just like the economy has to change, like our entire relationship to reality has to change, and the meaning that we get from why we're here has to come from like something deeper. And I think that actually, as long as we have jobs, we basically don't spend any time addressing why we're really here, what really matters in this reality. Like, what is the point of my life? It's not to work. I do love learning. I do love, you know, a lot of the things that I do, but I don't want to have to go and put 10 hours in at McDonald's just to feed my family. I just want my family to be fed. So I think that the reality is, in a million years, the idea of a job will not only not exist, it will seem like slavery, basically. It is a form of slavery if you go out that far enough. It's making people do what they don't want to do for something that they absolutely need to have in order to survive. Mm-hmm. And in the future, we'll have abundance where that might not be necessary. How do we get there in a way that doesn't suck? That's the big question. And I think that's why I came to crypto. I felt like, well, for one thing, economies aren't going to go away. Ownership isn't going to go away. It probably is going to be more important than ever. So maybe we should own that ourselves and not let governments and power brokers dictate that for us in a world that we don't control.
Awesome, and meanwhile we're having fun, right? Yeah. And later we all can sit here and meditate together, and everyone's here meditate with us.
We got to get rid of the jobs.
That sounds pretty awesome.
We'll have time to meditate.
So what's your take, Michael?
I totally agree. I think the kind of way of thinking about the future is working for enlightenment or working for self-actualization versus working for living. And I think that's the potential of AI. And we need it to be safe in order to get there in the first place. But I think basically most jobs can be automated away. There will be certain industries where that's going to be very difficult. And also economics will dictate to some extent. So for example, if you have a robot that costs $80,000 and the same kind of human person maybe somewhere across the world is maybe a few dollars an hour, then it'll take a while for human labor to kind of go away. So there's an economic equation to that. So I don't, you know, even if robots get introduced tomorrow, I don't think it's going to change that rapidly in certain industries. But over time, I think we will have a choice in terms of what do we actually want to do. And there are certain things that human beings are going to be much better at than AI. Those things are, so if you just think that AI models have been trained off all of the artifacts that human beings have created over millennia. So AI is trained with that. But then completely novel situations that haven't been thought about before. Human beings have that nervous system that can tap into that larger intelligence. And that larger intelligence is far greater than whatever AI is trained on effectively. So I think creativity is going to be an important part still of human beings. Then kind of expert evaluation. Also governance and evaluation of what are the norms and what are the values we want to have in society. We need some type of like governance layer still, because we can't just have AI dictate that for us. So I think those three aspects human beings will still be involved in, even in a completely automated world.
Wow. What amazing future, you know, we don't have to work for money. And I saw Tomaz was nodding like this. So Tomaz, totally agree. What's your take?
Yeah, I don't agree. no, I'm like a techno-optimist very much in that perspective, that, and the age of abundance is definitely something we can muster as an outcome of what we're seeing being possible even today. And you know, if we like zoom out twice or three times, this world that we live in is by far not perfect, not even close to it, but from a historical perspective, we've been continuously improving like crazy on the very important things like health, like longevity, like any basically aspect of human existence almost that you would take at. We've been progressing like crazy. I wouldn't go 70 years back and not have hot showers maybe, and that would be a thing. So we're solid. It's okay, and it can get significantly better than it is today, with a big but that we can get it wrong as well. So every big technological advancement came with that type of a caveat, none as big as AI potentially, because of the distinction obviously that we really, I think one of the exciting thing is how can we make systems that can make themselves better. Give them better data, provide them more infrastructure to be trained at, and give them good tasks and objectives that allows them to continuously improve. And if we have that, then we have entities which clearly have autonomy beyond what we've ever seen before. So there is a caveat that we need to be careful in terms of how we're making that happen, and all of the values and the primitives and the foundations that were mentioned before from the likes of ownership need to be put in place, which is one of the biggest Web3 opportunities we have on the table by far. Because if we look at what AI can do in that transformational shift, if Web3 can be the layer of assurance of making that future play out safe, that's how valuable is that? That's more valuable than anything we can bring collectively to our minds together, even from the financial point of view or anything else. This is, it's a like mind-bogglingly big opportunity that's there, the biggest arbitrage from not safe to safe. So if we work towards that, I think there's an opportunity to be seized, and there's a very bright future to be had, solving a lot of the even problems we made for ourselves previously.
Yeah, we made a lot of problems for ourselves. Yeah, I agree. And I think another thing is like the communications, right? Like as AI does all the jobs for us, and the human communication, the ones that are able to talking to human, like, you know, those are also some like interest, like culture as well. Like Japan is like a very, very strong culture country, and a lot of like creative stuff too. What's your take, Sean? Like,
I totally agree with everyone said. I will put a real life example of our team. We can reach more than 50 million users worldwide from more than 100 countries. We deal with more than 100,000 group leaders in the TG line, and also deal with more than 10,000 KOLs. That's our social network. You can imagine they speak different language, different culture, different needs, but we only have less than 20 teammates. I'm very confident that without AI, we can never achieve that. So AI is already make our work, what we work on, how we work, completely different from even 2 years ago. 2 years ago, maybe deal with same amount of work, we need at least 50 to 100 employees, but now we only have less than 20.
Yeah, I think isn't it like the base 44, the vibe coding company only have like 3 people, and each of them is generating $50 million revenue or something. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, like I couldn't even think about this before, like, you know, before ChatGPT moment. So, speaking of which, like we're here. What do you think of, like, you know, people in this industry will talk in the year, like next year? What people will talk?
I think it's still going to be AGI and probably robotics. I think people are just trying to get to AGI as quickly as possible, which there's an inherent danger in that as well, because if you have black box AI models that have been trained on human data, and this is, Sir Stuart Russell, for example, says that this is a very dangerous affair because human beings want access to power, they want dominance, and they will use different means to get there. And so some of these black box models may actually have some of these traits in them. We can visibly see them, but then let's say they're, you know, controlling robots or controlling bigger societal level systems like airports, and all of a sudden you have a big safety concern because those models, as already been shown in research, can actually blackmail people or try to extract something for themselves in order to survive. And so there's a big kind of safety aspect that's missing as part of that equation. And so hopefully we can contribute to that research and to that body of knowledge in a year's time as well.
Yeah, robotics has been hot recently. So Sha, what's your, I mean, I'm pretty sure you were talking about Eliza, and what else will we talk about next?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I love agents, but I actually think that some of, you know, what I've seen is that the expectations have not met reality yet, and so we're kind of hitting that sort of hype cycle curve. We're in the trough of disillusion, and then we're going to climb back out into like, oh, this is actually, I don't know, the plane of adoption, I guess, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel. I definitely see us getting there, but I think that a lot of the like, okay, we're just going to throw more scale, more compute at these things, it's kind of hitting a limitation. That limitation is actually that these companies, like, they have infinite money, but they just cannot run enough GPUs simultaneously to scale beyond where they are. They're, you know, you have massive investments now in nuclear from Google and Microsoft, and so there's that thing. And so what I think we're going to see is somewhat of a, like, something of a slowdown in that, but at the same time, which I'd say is like exploration of the frontier of LLM, but we're seeing an exploitation of those LLMs to now bring everything else up. Something that's really surprised me is I've been doing a lot of like science and research on my computer, and there's a lot of ideas that I don't want to commit time to, but I just want to see if they work. Mm-hmm. And the amount of like it's unfathomable to me how good like Claude Code and ChatGPT are now at math and applying math to other domains. And so I think that what we're going to see now as we have these crazy LLMs is just people being like, what if this, and just trying all these things. And I would imagine that I don't think that the current generation of LLMs is even remotely close to the best paradigm of intelligence. I just think it's the first one we found, and we can use it to bootstrap the other ones. And I think that's going to be a really, like, I'd say probably to the public, the popular topic will be like, well, how fast it is now to synthesize new apps and build this stuff, but also to do science and research and to do all this other stuff. And that the frontier transformer is probably going to hit a sort of threshold as like it just becomes cheaper to invest in new research that could be more efficient than to pump more, you know, just pump billions and billions into this thing, just because it is hitting a maximal scale limitation that's actually about how much power you can like draw from your energy grid, you know.
I think Elon just actually recently retweeted about that same topic as well. So yeah, I'm
That's
on it.
actually another point for decentralization, because theoretically, if you figure out a verification mechanism and low latency communication and asynchronous training, then you could have significantly larger scale models by consumer GPUs, hundreds of millions of those participating in that training process. So from a decentralization end, you should actually be able to build bigger and more successful models that way.
Yeah, we have access to the centralized models, and so if we could use that to figure out, it's kind of like the DeepSeek moment was partially like cool, they open sourced the reinforcement learning approach, but also they figured out how to train on like a smaller regime of GPUs, and it's like there's a lot of pressure to push it down because we don't just have H200s lying around. All the ones that are around are just cooking as hot as they can cook, just serving the big companies, and we all have thousands of small GPUs, so it's like, how do we wire them up? How do we build more compute efficient solutions? Instead of throwing an LLM at everything, could the LLM actually develop small model solutions to other kinds of problems, especially in like science and molecular dynamics and stuff, not language problems. And I think that we're gonna see a lot of that, like the lag of the rest of the world catching up, kind of chat GPTing themselves into the future, probably outpacing the actual LLM itself until I think we find those new paradigms. But we'll probably find those with the LLMs,
Wow. Yeah. That sounds very interesting. Thomas, what do you see in the year?
Yeah, I think it's very much along the lines. Maybe if I structure it in 3 points, it's going to be connectivity. Connectivity from the perspective of data. It was mentioned before that LLMs have been largely trained on what was human output up until now, but that was public internet, and public internet isn't great. I think it's just a tip of the iceberg of the real value of the data, which is hidden in the privately kept data. So think the healthcares, the government sectors of the world, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to gain from having connectivity to what has so far not been available to AI to be worked on. Connectivity of tools, stuff that you guys are working on at Eliza as well. How can we tap into many tools and give them to the agent? Super important. Both connectivities, they're increasing network effects, I think, exponentially. Then it's going to be the second theme, reliability. Just how can we introduce verifiability so that we don't have black box moments? I'm really rooting for that to be the theme. I'm not sure if it is going to be, but I'm really, really hopeful it will, because the other side is not so nice. And then the third one, I think it's edge. Edge devices bring in agents and AI capabilities to either within companies, but also to individuals on their phones, on their laptops, in their homes, to my TV, to my microwave, to my wash machine, wherever it is. Small models with very nice, high-quality data in a privacy-preserving way. Super bullish on that. I think there's a huge opportunity to get unlocked, and on the flip side as well, to mine, right? Mine either GPUs on the edge or mine even data on the edge as well. So connectivity, reliability, and edge are the three things that intuitively seem especially for agents, to be very exciting topics, hopefully to be discussed next year when we meet here.
Just to comment on the verifiability and edge side. So we've actually have early research on a verification mechanism that's completely software based, and it only has about a 2.4x overhead to TEML at the moment. And so the issue with TE for the audience is that most of these TEML kind of aspects live on high-end GPUs. So you have to have a H200, H100 to even run these verification processes. Most of you probably don't have that in your home, and so you're relying on data centers. But if you have a verification mechanism, and so this is really early research, we haven't published anything on it, but we're thinking of essentially having a pipeline that's using the CPU TEs, which every edge device has a CPU TE effectively, and on top of that, heterogeneous graphic cards. So you can have two flows and then use kind of a matrix multiplication model to actually figure out how to verify and say like, oh, okay, this particular compute came from this particular graphic card and this type of model and so on. So very early research, but we're very excited about that.
Can I just nerd out on that for like 1 second? Because I feel like you probably don't even need to verify everything. If I had a pretty good reputation, you'd be like, oh, I'll just check like 1% of your work or whatever. And if it's like nailing it, because I wouldn't be able to know which percent you're checking, getting pretty good speed up.
Yeah, I would say, I think for training, it's more important just to make sure that you're not just injecting poison data and that type of stuff as that, but maybe for certain type of inferences, if you're saying like, hey, go find me a restaurant or like book this thing, probably don't need to verify that.
Even in training, if you're like, yeah, I'll verify 1% of your computation, maybe 2, 3%. Because if any of those are wrong, well, optimistically, okay, well, I'm going to go verify everything. You're out of the network. But if you're nailing it, then I don't have to verify everything.
I don't know, like it's also verifiability from the perspective because if the premise is that we'll have sort of RAG-based systems which are somehow using data that is to be trusted, then the verifiability likely has to consist of data verifiability where the decentralized knowledge graph plays in heavily and have it nicely structured, and then whether that was the querying part or it's the post inference on whatever it pulled out of the database to create the final output, so that way we can have like verifiability from end to end basically and try to slash through all the black boxes that might exist there, right?
If I had one prediction for the next year, I'd say that the hot new thing after prediction markets is going to be reputation, which is kind of a mix of a lot of different ideas that we have. And so it's like, where is the person training this model, like are they somebody that I trust? Can I build a reputation score so I don't have to check every single computation they do, because that's going to make everything a lot more expensive. Does this agent actually do what it says it does? Does it have so there's like benchmarking reputation, there's security reputation, there's like, does it, and I think that this idea of reputation marketplaces or some sort of discovery mechanism for agents deeply tied reputation is going to be really important. Because I think it's like the big missing primitive that we don't have is like, how do I know how to trust anybody before I send them money? And I kind of don't. And I get scammed like reasonably often, honestly. I fat-fingered quite a few transactions. And I think that like what crypto has been looking for a long time is reputation, and agents just put that into overdrive,
Awesome. What's your prediction, Sean?
Just 1 sense from me, I guess growth. Although people may not talk about growth a lot, but I'm sure almost every entrepreneur will think about growth, dream about it. I just seen that in the past several months, so many entrepreneurs are working on different type of AI agents. And in almost every sector, say travel, education, e-commerce, every sector, with similar concept functions. So I guess people will spend more energy, money on the growth to gain mind share, more impacts, and also market share.
I mean, talking about growth, like we are waiting for that TikTok moment of applications, of crypto applications. And what do you guys think about a bottleneck? Like why that adoption of application hasn't happened yet? Like, or the product itself, or it's like.
I think it's harder than people think. Yeah. I mean, the reality is that an unconstrained agent acting on your behalf is incredibly, incredibly hard, and even in like perfect lab conditions and scientific literature, it's not there. We have benchmarks, and they're just crawling slowly, like 50%, Gaia benchmark, 50%, 60%, but a human can nail 98% on Gaia benchmark, so we're just not human level for like basic assistance stuff. On the other hand, it's like, Rain Man, it's literally IOI gold medalist, math, physics, all that stuff. And so it's very uneven. But for the things that people need it to like think rationally on your behalf, it's very challenging. So a lot of what we do, what we're all in the business of, is with agent frameworks and agents, it's like constraining that down. And like, what is an agent framework? Well, I'm taking a model, any model, and then saying, well, how do I manage what goes into it? The memory, what it knows about the user, what, and what tools can it call? And all of it is like this kind of alchemy of just fixing everything and getting it right. And we're just getting to the point now where the agents can actually start to self-optimize, like they can self-optimize their tool calling, they can record the tool calling, we can go and actually train on it and make the agents better. There's like general approaches to this now. But it's been really, really hard. And it's like, the difference between, I have this analogy where like my friend told me this, where he's like, you go in, you see some dogs and they're playing poker in this room, and you're like, oh my God, there's dogs playing poker. That's incredible. I can't believe that there's dogs playing poker. And then you like leave and you come back in a couple weeks, you're like, oh, but are they good? Are they good at playing poker? And that's where we're at with agents. Like, oh my God, they can respond to me. It knows all this. But is it good?
Okay.
Yeah, most of them lose in trading competitions, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, though, that we had, as Web3, pre-AI, our UX was quite kind of clunky. In a lot of ways, it still is, and like AI can solve that quite significantly. And it can really highlight the good parts about Web3 as well. So when I look at what we used Web3 before, okay, protect my money with holding Bitcoin here, it's not with the bank, like no one's going to take it. If we deploy the same level of thinking to this is how I protect my likeness or my data, then cases like that powered by agents could be something that becomes all of a sudden an interesting proposition, because it's easy to use, fast to deploy, easy to spread, and it has we can introduce the incentives as well as a part of the story, which has always been our kind of the main flywheel of growth. So yeah, I'm kind of bullish on like that TikTok-like moment for Web3 XAI.
Have you seen anything interesting?
I'm still rooting for humanity, like that one, like the Guardian agent. To me, is like that's the one I'm betting on.
The thing that I've seen is just a massive uptick in people creating new applications. Like a lot of people who were not coders are now coders.
Coding?
I think like 0x Designer is a good example of this. Kind of big on Twitter and Farcaster and stuff. And we met and talked a bit. And he was like, I'm a designer. Now he's like, I am building my first application. And then that's a very common story. And so I think that like a lot of the web, the problem is like the people who are usually good at UX design are not sitting there like doing cryptographic protocols. And so it's like, I think that's just the current state of LLMs is lowering the barrier to let more people get in, and we're just going to see a much more diverse range of apps, I think. A lot more apps came out in the last like 6 months in crypto than I've seen in a long time, actually.
Gotcha. Well, we're up to the time, and I thank everyone for being here and listening to these amazing conversations from our panelists. And I hope everyone have connected with all the speakers, follow them on X. What happened to your X, Shaw?
I can't talk about it.
All right. Thank you guys for your time, and appreciate it. And hope you guys have a wonderful day. Sayonara.
Thank you.
はい、皆様ありがとうございました。Thank you very much, Michael, Shaw, Thomas, Sean, and Vera. We'll now have a group photo with all of you, so please gather towards the middle, and we will have our photographer ready. はい、それでは皆様、これより記念写真の撮影を行います。ゲストの皆様もどうぞよろしければ携帯カメラをご準備の上、写真撮影をお願いします。Okay, big smile, everyone. はい、ありがとうございます。Thank you all very much. 皆様、今一度大きな拍手をお願いいたします。